Doors, doors, we've all got 'em. Some are big, some are little. Some go up at the push of a button. Some you have to open. Some are to your mind. Some you come out of, and some you go inside. Talking about doors, doors, good for your heart. The more you eat them, the more you fart.
Had a brain wire. had a wire move.
Yeah.
Had a wire fall out at the end. I got into it. I was riding the rhythm, and then one of my brain wires hit a fart wire.
And then it went to fart.
Yeah, that's what happened.
It's a Precision Door of Central Florida. They've been a sponsor for a while now, and if you have a garage door that needs repair, maybe you need a new garage door, they're giving 5% off any new garage door that you get. They're offering that Tom and Dan silent package like we all got.
I love it.
Me, you, Tony Ray, Seth Petrozelli, my neighbor Francis.
Multiple BDMs.
Your father-in-law.
Well, he got a full door. He saved some money. Big Tim, he loves Big Tim, by the way. He thinks Big Tim's the greatest.
And by the way, Big Tim works for Precision Door, and here's his number. It's his Precision Door number.
He goes right to Tim.
Yeah, you can call him directly. It's 1-407-710-BDMS. That's 710-2367. And that'll go straight to Big Tim, and he'll say, "Hey, baby."
Yeah.
And then you'll ask him, "What do you need?"
Yeah, he can come out there, give you an estimate, kind of decide. You'll get to pick from different. They have different motors. The one that we got is mine is Wi-Fi.
Yeah. It comes with the app.
It's amazing because I can, when I'm on my scooter, I don't have a garage door opener. I have one in my car, but I just use my phone. My phone's right in front of me, so I kind of look like a baller when I pull up to my garage door, my tiny little scooter. I hit a button and I just drive inside and close it down. It's cool, man.
You can open it from anywhere. Also, what helps is you go on vacation, you always have the sinking feeling you left your garage door open. You can go on the app and look, and it'll tell you if your garage door is open or closed. If it's open, you just hit close.
You can program it.
You can close it for anyone in the world.
It tells you when you leave the light on in the garage door.
Did
you know you can turn the light, just the light on?
Yeah.
You want to freak your wife out when she's down there getting an extra thing of bubbly out of the second fridge. You hit the light real fast,
and then
scares her nightgown off.
And with the silent package that we got, not only you get that Wi-Fi motor, but they put special bearings, like plastic bearings,
with some sleeves over the wheels.
Yeah, the sleeves, and then so your whole garage door is super quiet. So if you have this noisy ass garage door, then you can redo the motor.
So no more noise, no more creaking, no more rattling. My old door would shake the house because it was unbalanced. These guys, this is all that they do. They're just garage door guys. And
one of their employees will show up at your house
in a van or a truck,
a precision door.
So you don't have to worry about any type of weirdness.
Yeah, there's no subcontractor that's going to show up with a ladder on his roof and be like, "Hey, I'm Precision Door." No, it's their employees. And by the way, they're always hiring because they're a growing company. So if you want a good job, we know a lot of BDMs that work in there right now,
including our good friend Big Tim.
Yeah, so
407-710-BDMS.
Yeah, it's Precision Door of Central Florida.
In the boy, the larynx and the vocal cords change so that his voice acquires the deeper pitch of a man's voice. The shoulders become broader, thighs grow longer, and the muscles become stronger. Hair begins to grow on the face, under the arms, and in the pubic area.
You are a man, and in taking on the role of the world's second greatest gender, you must adhere to A Gentleman's Guide to Manliness.
It is another A Gentleman's Guide. Dan Dennis.
Tom Van.
Steve Kramer.
Woke up this morning, looked in the mirror, said, "God damn, you look old!" And then Steve started pontificating. You started
Tell me who's that old dude looking back at me.
You have a theory about this, don't you?
That the Weezer song?
I think you age fairly well. I think Tom ages fairly well. Me, not great.
Yeah, but we're all our own toughest critic because we know ourselves best. And if you know yourself best, you're going to know your own weaknesses and flaws best.
Know yourself best and be your best self.
Well, let's talk about...
That's a poster.
Steve, you brought up a good point.
Oh, my theory?
About how men age, yeah.
So my theory is that once I think adults get to their adult age, an adult physique, for the most part, they look consistent for like a long time.
Yeah.
Right? And then there's like a drop off.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not 27 because the difference between 27 and 37 is gigantic. But once you're like in your mid 30s, to late 30s, you know that. Like you know how people
it starts
look.
falling off in the 50s. Like I
think you're good until late 50s.
Well, it depends because there's a
definitely there's
hair.
There's a gradual change.
Yeah, like I noticed with my friends, it's interesting because all my Miami friends, the last time I saw them, everybody's got gray in their beards.
You don't have that, but you don't wear.
Well, he doesn't have a beard. He doesn't grow facial hair.
And
good choice.
And they're all Spanish, so
I don't think it's a choice.
It's a more of a drastic color change from like black
the white
to gray.
pops a little better on the brown.
Yeah.
What? There's no blondes?
Huh?
Is that what you're saying?
Well, like my gray,
for stereotyping.
no, my gray is less visible than if I had a black beard.
Why don't you just dye it black? Like
I have before, and then I
black.
look like I swear to God, I end up looking like a cruise ship magician. It's terrible.
I think you would look like Rip Torn.
No, I dyed the center of it, and you end up looking like the amazing Blackstone, and I don't want to do that.
You know what some
I don't want to do that.
What some guys do, and I like this move. Now,
Is plastic surgery?
I'm glad we're talking about this because there's nothing more gentlemanly, and a lot of guys refuse to talk about their appearance, but let's face it does matter. Especially in business.
Well, there's a mind. Not appearance necessarily, but your body and mind are inextricably linked.
Sure.
Yeah.
Your body is the vessel that carries you through life.
You have a theory, sir?
So there are some gentlemen that pulled this off. Now, it's an aggressive move at first because it hyper ages you. So, in Daniel, you'll know what I'm talking about. Some guys, they at the age of like mid-30s, late 30s,
okay,
they immediately go, like if they're going gray,
they weigh 200 pounds. They like put on 200 pounds.
No,
I know what you're talking about.
They go full old man.
Yeah.
And then so like you, at first it's shocking. You're like, whoa, you're too young to be an old man. But they're able to ride that until they're 60.
Yeah.
And then when they're 60, people are like, oh, you've looked the same forever.
Yeah,
Like you never age.
Yeah.
They went old first instead of hold off because you can go
Well, they
either
didn't
way.
choose to get gray hair, though.
I know, but
they could have done something. Instead of doing something, they actively took a passive approach. Yeah. If you can do that, you
there's a name
take
for
a
that.
passive approach.
There's a name for that. It's called the Steve Martin effect.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, you're right. Steve Martin.
But he has looked the same for forever.
Yeah,
There's university studies on it.
Because when he
Really?
Are you serious? No,
I would believe that.
No.
I would believe that. There's a class on Madonna at UCF.
So it's like, and my buddy,
Steve Martin's gray in The Jerk, and he's gray in Bowfinger, and he's gray now. Or silver, whatever. White.
Bowfinger.
It's the Anderson Cooper.
Great movie.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
like,
Anderson also...
he dyes his hair
Is
white.
Anderson Cooper... Has he come out?
Yeah.
Okay. Anderson Cooper, I think, he's also a very attractive guy. He's extremely well put together, got that Vanderbilt money.
But he went old.
Now he does.
He's got that
not before.
That delicious Illuminati baby lotion all over him.
He looks stereotypical,
Super rich.
old, distinguished old man.
But
young.
he's not old.
I know, that's what I'm saying. But you will go gray, and
he's probably younger. What is he? 45?
Thank you. Samantha says AC is hot. He is. He's a good-looking dude. But there are some, like Mike Rowe, can pull off the gray hair.
But he'll look the same for 20 years because that gray hair.
I like that somebody said Christopher Lloyd because it's true. Doc Brown looks the same in 1955 as he does in 85 as he does in 2015.
No,
How does he do that?
He's old.
He always looks the same.
He
fell off
right now.
Yeah,
what are you talking about? I saw when he came back
lost
from
weight.
2015. He got
lost too much weight. He looks AIDSy.
No, he got that facelift and he.
When you lose weight as an old man, you go downhill because you want to.
Oh, you're talking about Christopher Lloyd. I'm talking about Doc Brown.
You want to start skinny.
They're different.
Okay, this is how you go. Okay, so your hair goes gray, right? And then as you get older, you put on you have to start.
Christopher
skinny,
Lloyd's
though.
an actor. Doc Brown has a flying train time machine. Okay,
Like my mom looks younger when she is heavier.
Yes, yeah.
When my mom was sick with the wound on her leg, she got really skinny, and then I'm like, oh my God, you're old. But then this last week when she came for the hurricane, she'd beefed up about 15, 20 pounds. She looks amazing.
Yeah.
Because all the wrinkles
disappear. It's like filling up
I looked at her, I go, God damn, Mom, you look amazing.
It's the same thing that happens like with a grape to raisin, from raisin to grape, right?
I'm grape.
I'm raisin.
In the middle.
Well, you can be...
I'm a craisin.
You can be jelly.
Crazen Kramer.
Yeah, crazy Kramer. Crazy Kramer.
I feel like a lot of like professors do this. Like they go full on professor, especially if you got a bozo, like you got male pattern baldness. Like you just accept it. You go.
What would you do?
I'll just get the hair.
You're not going to go bozo?
No, I'll just get the hair.
You're not going to shave it?
Nah, they got technology. I just get the put in the hair.
But I mean, you procrastinate a lot. You'd be putting off your consultation.
Yeah,
then you wouldn't wear your do-rag. Then there'd be blood running into your eyes. It'd be a mess.
Yeah.
I feel like you'd just go
do-rag?
I don't care. I'll be too lazy. You're right.
You have to wear that protective American flag do-rag to keep your friends from seeing all the blood spots on your head.
Is that why Bret Michaels always has a bandana?
Because he's always
doing that. But one day he's going to unveil it, and he's going to be like a f***ing Yeti.
This is on the radio, Kramer. It's not uncensored.
Damn it.
By the way, I learned on the Amazing Jonathan documentary, and I think Bret Michaels has it too.
Can you put out some reverb on my mic?
There is.
Because I want to go, The Amazing Jonathan.
He wears a bandana wig. And I think Bret Michaels does? No, Amazing Jonathan does.
Oh.
It's a bandana wig. He had it on. We didn't know. And it was on the documentary. He takes it off, and he's bozo underneath.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you,
I think Bret Michaels
if you want, one of the secrets to my building my business at its earliest phases.
Was it a bandana wig?
The secret to Kramer Law Firm is the bandana wig.
Maybe I shouldn't do it.
What is it?
We can edit it out.
Who are you looking at here? So I can't edit anymore. My hands don't work.
In the early years, I mean, I've been doing this for a long time now. In the early years, I was very small, and it was kind of a very tight-knit group of people, and we all knew each other very well. And when everybody makes mistakes, so anytime anybody,
I didn't know her age.
No,
I didn't know where I was. I was on PCP.
Anytime anybody made a mistake in the office, they had to wear. I had like a box of wigs that I got after Halloween for like 90% off.
Hold on. Can we just have a moment of applause? Because Full Crazy is here, everybody. It's happened. The craziness is here.
Your creative boss that's too hyped about his own business.
This is so Michael Scott, it hurts.
It really is. It really is.
Well, you got to go to the wig box because you forgot to put the appointment in. We have a consultation for a divorce client.
I knew I shouldn't have brought this up.
So get the wig box. Which one are you going to wear today, Mr. T or Bette Midler?
And your employee's like, Steve, I'm pregnant. Like, I'm not wearing a stinky wig.
Put your wig on. Hey,
this is stupid.
You're only 12 weeks pregnant because, as far as I know, it's not really pregnant.
Yeah, there was a box of wigs. They're all different types, like a super tight curly blonde hair wig, a nice like long mullet wig, and everything in between, like a MacGyver wig. It's been retired for about 9 years now.
You're bringing it back,
but I still have the box. And it's in the closet. Every now and then I'll make maybe we need to get that wig box out.
Yeah, tighten up morale.
But it's been retired for about 10 years.
How did your employees react to the wig box? And what if did you ever have anybody?
They loved it more. I didn't have to say it as much. They loved it. They loved to make each other have to wear the wig.
Like me saying, Samantha loves editing curse words out.
That's what Adrian Peterson said about his whipping his kids' legs. They're like, they love it.
They love it down Rod.
Yeah, I'm just saying, Steve.
How many wigs were in there?
I don't think they love it.
Well, it doesn't matter anyway. It's been more than 10 years. Probably about 10 years.
You got to bring it back.
I vow, if I'm ever a boss, I will make sure my employees know that this is a no-fun zone. And then when they come to work, they're going to be miserable like the rest of us.
Well, that's what, the longer you do,
put on your wig.
The longer your business, you start to realize it's not fun and it's not,
no one wants to have fun.
So you never had anybody say no to it?
No,
did you ever add any wigs to it, or did it always have the same amount of wigs? Were there any precautions?
Oh no,
for lice?
It grew. No, everybody was just clean enough because if you're too clean, you're more likely to get lice. You know that, right?
What?
If you shampoo too much, if your hair is too clean, you're more likely to have lice. Supposedly.
I thought now lice on your head and crabs, same thing, right?
No, really?
Yeah, I think it's exactly the same thing.
I never had it, but every year when they did the lice checks,
I think.
Crabs is pubic lice, but I don't think there's a difference between pubic lice and regular head lice.
Did either of you ever have head lice?
Yeah.
You know how you can tell the difference between pubic lice and just standard cranium lice? The pubic lice, if you get a magnifying glass, you look right at them, they'll be like,
so dirty.
They put their crab
V. They put their crab V.
So dirty hair is more generally covered with oil, which makes it more challenging. Which makes it more challenging for the last to attach. They're more likely to be found on children and adults with good hygiene and those who are social.
Steve,
All right,
we're trying to do crab.
Yeah, we're doing some new impressions here. This is Cranium Lice.
Hey, what's up?
And this is Pubic Lice.
with the crab meat.
Yeah, with a crab meat. Put the crab on it.
Anyway,
you like crab?
So we
Have
need
your
to
kids
edit out that whole portion on the wigs.
No,
that was for
that's
your
the
ears
best,
only.
That's the best thing we've said on the show.
Well,
I feel like we should get a wig box around here, and guess what?
Maybe I'll
like
bring it over.
Butler wore a wig like 2 Fridays ago just for fun.
Oh, so you knock me for being Michael Scott. Look who's Michael Scott.
Well, he's less of a
Dennis
Michael
Scott
Scott
over
and he's
here.
more of a Toby. Like, I don't know what he does.
Everybody hates Toby.
He's a Toby. I actually enjoyed Toby.
we were gonna hide weed in his desk.
Did either of you ever have lice?
I've had both
yeah, yeah.
lice and crabs.
I got lice in college.
Like as an adult or a child?
I had crabs as a child, lice as an adult.
That's disturbing.
No,
I know it was the opposite.
I had both as an adult.
At the same time?
No, different times.
How'd you find out you had lice?
I got lice from, okay, this is a weird story. I was dating a girl, and I went over to her house and had been staying there, and then it turned out that her little sister, because they lived together, had lice, and then I just got it from just the house, I'm assuming, or just, a pillow or something like that. And then crabs, no idea, just got it. And,
you got it somehow.
No idea. With the
Probably
smile.
got it from boofing. In a rodeo bull stall at Silver Spurs.
That is so trashy.
Yeah.
What about you?
I got it from getting a handy behind the popcorn machine at the Volusia County Fair.
Yeah, there it is.
What about you, Tom? You had
I got
lice?
I got lice in college, and my wife had to put the lice shampoo on me.
What is it? Rit? No.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Red is the tie-dye.
Rid?
Or dye.
I don't know how I got it, but I remember it was around that time because I remember I was in my wife's townhouse off of
I know what that
OBT.
means. I know you got the crabs.
And she was looking
Crabs
at
in the townhouse.
She was looking in my hair like a monkey, and she was like, "Ah!" And I was like, "Ah!" I was like, "Burn it out!" And she was like, "Yeah, there's in there." And then with the lice shampoo, I was mad. I was gonna shave my head King Kong Bundy style.
You should do it.
But
I remember being a kid and they do the lice check, and I'd be so nervous, like, I don't want to get the lice. I don't want to get the lice. I don't want everybody to think I've got cooties or whatever.
You comb them out with a lice comb, right? It's like a flea comb for
Well, then
dogs.
you have to. Well, but I had the same flashback experience when I took my kids to camp. They have to do lice check, and I had the same experience. Like, I hope they don't have lice. I hope they don't have lice. I don't want to be that person that has lice.
Oh yeah,
Well, I mean,
then you're
it
the
can just
dirty
happen,
family.
though.
Except ironically,
But you're not.
you're
I know,
clean.
I know. Yeah, I know, but that's the stereotype. Of the
That's
football.
exactly right.
If the kid has lice, you're like, "Yeah, get away from him."
Well, it's cooties.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's a lot of things we villainize, especially as children, that are not, girl gets her period in gym class. Ew. Guy poops his pants because he has extreme flu. Lice, ooh.
I forgot.
Well, if you live long enough,
Pink eye,
eventually,
ew.
as a woman, that's going to happen to you, and as anybody, the other is going to happen to you. So that's just how it works.
I think I forgot where I saw this, so a part of me, if I steal it from some comedian or whatever, I was watching some show and they were showing some 1950s like old school like propaganda. Like,
I love those.
Government education.
Yeah, like the preliminary archive.
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
can
Oh, yeah.
find. Yeah, I love those.
And it was
Sex
The old
education
coronet-
reels or
the
like
old coronet educational videos.
And it was some doctor, like 1950s doctor, and then it was like
Duck and cover.
a young girl, and they were explaining periods, and like Susie here, she's got the curse. They called it the curse.
The curse?
It made me
wow,
laugh.
some misogyny there.
Wow.
I thought that was funny, and then I started. Now I refer to it as my
To as
wife.
the curse.
Yeah, I'm like, you got the curse.
How's that go over?
I have a problem with that. I'd rather you
Makes
just
you laugh every time.
I'd rather that's funnier than I'd rather hear the curse than time of the month, my little friend.
The rag
so
is white
yeah,
trash.
that reminds me.
Don't-
What about when
don't ever
somebody?
say that.
What about when
Red
somebody
Tide, red
passes
flag,
gas?
All of that's garbage. Don't say that it's gross. The curse is fine. I agree with it.
What about when somebody passes gas? Would you rather hear I passed gas, I
No.
farted, or I tooted?
So what are you, a baby?
We say tooted, but only because I have a 4-year-old. But I'm like, I like these boosted ass. No, I don't. I usually say farted.
Yeah.
But my wife, she said, see, I don't like baby words.
Oh.
My wife, when she was a kid, and even her dad says this to this day. He's probably going to hear this and be mad. But if Maisie will toot, which is what we call it in our household, he'll go, somebody boofied. And I'm like, don't say that. You're a respectable, retired old man.
That sounds way worse than
Don't
fart.
say that.
That sounds like you had the shart happen.
Yeah, I don't like the boofy. I don't.
Quit
Boofy.
calling it all baby names.
Yeah.
How would you feel if your wife
Past
said that
gas
she...
is fine with me. Like, or farted. Farted is fine, right?
Just
I don't want to get in trouble.
Don't even mention
I'm not even going to go there.
Your wife farted? Is that what you're going to say? Oh, my wife farted.
Never in her life.
My wife farted the other night. This just to show you how open we are here on this show. My wife farted the other morning, rather. Like, Caesar the dog will make noises when he wants to get on the bed. My wife farted.
Wait, Caesar who?
My dog, Caesar.
No, I like that you said Caesar
the dog. Well, I had to clarify because, we have a high Latin population around here.
But in this group, Caesar is your dog. We all know.
Not everybody knows. My new listeners.
Maisie, the human.
Radio is getting new listeners by the minute, Kramer.
This is podcast, my friend.
So my
that
wife
happens to be
farted,
broadcast and radio.
and then I turned to her and I go, Caesar needs to get on the bed. Her fart sounded like a dog crying to get on the bed.
No.
It was not, she was like, what? And I go, Caesar needs to get on the bed. She goes, I farted. And I was like, all right.
How would you feel if she had said she tooted? Because that's what my wife would say.
My wife generally will just do it, not say anything. Now, Tom doesn't.
I don't like that.
I don't
Tom
like.
Tell me,
doesn't
warn
fart
me.
in front of his wife, and she will fart in front of you. Is that the?
No, I'll fart in front of my wife. I didn't used to not let her. She do whatever she
I
wants.
remember
but I
you
used to get
saying
mad.
I didn't used to let her.
I used to get mad. I'm like, don't fart in front of me. And then she got.
Then you got married.
Well, no. Even into marriage, I used to not like it, and she used to not do it in front of me, and then still don't like it. But then she got pregnant, and I let it go.
What a double standard.
It's a slippery slope. I was like, okay, you're pregnant. I understand. This is a lot of things going on.
How about you're human?
What? No, that's a no excuse.
Never accept that.
I want to do a lot of things as a human, but I can't.
Yeah.
So you can't fart.
So sorry, I'm cheating on you. I'm an animal.
Yeah. I'm a male of my species. Technically, I want to
Double
spread
standard.
my
Someone
seed.
quick,
I'm
bring
with
me a
Crystal on
plant.
this.
So
we should call her.
So
we should call her.
I won't cheat. You don't fart.
I won't cheat. You won't. This is your new rap song. It sounds like.
But then just like the gun laws, once you
Just like the gun laws.
I like that you put your finger in the air for listeners that aren't watching.
There's a 3-day waiting period on your wife farting in front of you, just like the gun laws.
I'm gonna start
and you
bringing
have
up
to have
gun
a
laws every
mental.
time.
You have to have a mental evaluation in order to have the gun.
Yeah.
What kind of magazine does your farts have?
I let her go. I said, okay, you're pregnant. That's
All she would do
fine.
is then do it and just not say anything
So
to
the
you. She just
king
lie and
said,
say, I didn't do it.
I now declare
I can't go back.
You just force the farts underground is what you do when you do that, Tom.
Listen, no. Now she refused. She was totally open about it. And
Well, that's because you let it go. But before, you were just in denial. That's you. When you smell that smell all the time, that wasn't your fart.
Oh,
that was her
no, I
fart.
wouldn't
And she was
smell.
hiding it
Yeah,
from
but
you.
I don't want to hear it.
Tom's right. There is a slippery slope. Like the other morning, I'm getting up. I'm making breakfast for my daughter. I'm making some bacon, some eggs, some French toast. I turn behind me. There's a small bathroom on the side of my kitchen. My wife's in there.
What a bad spot for a bathroom, right?
Dumping it out with the door open and no fan. I'm like, I'm cooking like 9 feet away from me.
And smell is like 20% of taste.
Well, I mean, it does. But
You should not take poops in the bathroom next to the kitchen.
I don't want to beat her up. They don't smell for some reason. I think she's just cleaner living. She doesn't drink. She eats basically a plant diet like Crystal does.
Yeah.
There's not a lot going on there.
That's what love will do.
When you're talking
Love is
about me
blind.
and Tom, 25 White Claws, a rack of ribs,
Yeah.
some Kratom.
You really have to love somebody to say
14
their doesn't
Diet
stink.
Dr. Peppers.
I did it again. I did
It's not good. Hey, Kratom's good now, and now vaping's bad, right?
Steve cursed again.
God bless it. Well, you came in spicy today.
I heard the Chinese like the knockoff vape pens are causing the problems or whatever. Also, I feel,
only those.
well, I feel
Except
like
for everybody else that's dying from the rest.
I feel like it's same thing with like flesh eating bacteria and stuff. Like when
like gun
a
law.
news story comes out, just like gun laws, when they're like 4 people have died, and then everybody freaks out like, oh my god! Like, but you're like, wait a minute, you look at the sample size. I mean, this is statistically an anomaly, like you start looking at what, you're like how many people get lung cancer every day, like so many people die of lung cancer,
I think.
So then when the vaping thing comes out, I feel like that gives a lot of ammunition
Yeah,
to
the issue is
people
it's-
oh, see, it's just as bad, and like, nah.
It's true. I mean, we should not jump the gun on it, but there was a 6th one that just came out today, and it's not that old. I mean, it's a recent development. I mean, it's been around for a while, but it's gained popularity. So in the scheme of the world, it's pretty.
Now you were
pretty new.
one of the first people I think I ever met that had one of those big like you had sunk some money into your vape rig. So do you still vape as heavy as you did, or have you moved under like a Juul, or are you still carrying around the big vape that you have with the Insane Clown Posse sticker on the side?
Do you still compete in the competitions as a
Are you talking to me?
VPK?
Who'd you think I was talking to?
VPK.
I had no idea.
It's not VPK, it's VPK.
I honestly thought you were talking to Tom, and I thought maybe you were kind of serious about the Insane Clown Posse thing.
Are you still a vapist?
Yeah. Is VPK coming back for the second round of the championships?
Illnesses from vaping top 400. That's a.
Do you still have the suit that matches your rig?
Do you still have your suit with money all over it? And does your cell phone still have a light-up antenna?
There was a guy on TV that used to have the money suit, right?
Yeah, Andrew.
He was the get-rich-quick guy.
Lisco.
Yeah.
He's like, "Hey, do you want to get a free scholarship?" He was that guy.
Yes, I have never vaped. I would have vaped. I would vape, I guess. I just never have.
I'm not into it.
I don't think I would want it to be a habit or to do it regularly.
Well,
but I've never even tried it. So
my only point is,
tried it.
No, and I would.
I haven't tried a nicotine vape, but I've certainly tried a marijuana vape.
Yeah, I've tried them all.
I've never tried a nicotine vape.
Yeah.
I've
same thing.
Done vape through a humidifier, Vicks Vapo Rub. When I've had a cold, I have done that.
Yeah. Nerd.
So
I know.
Sorry, doesn't count.
My point is
definitely not as cool as if I had a vape pen with ICP on it. So you're right. You're right. Super dorky compared to that.
Those rigs are so expensive, man. People go all in on those. I think it would just be more economical just to Juul, right? But then the FDA is telling Juul to like, hey, ease up on telling kids that this is safe. We don't know yet.
Or the
why are you even? Then how did it get this far?
Yeah, it is safer compared to smoking in the fact that it's got to be like you're burning old school tobacco into your lungs as opposed to vaping into whatever. But my point is,
I think it's a chemical additive, is what they suspect.
Okay, would it
is that there could be like a vitamin E compound?
Okay, serious question, and I'm not at all trying to be disrespectful to people that have had some sort of lung issue, cancer, whatever. Is it healthier for me to have on the weekend a couple of cigarettes with my whiskey or my beer? Or to just vape all the time.
Why is that? Why is it a binary choice?
I see what you're saying. I bet a couple cigarettes on the weekend is
but
probably
people don't do a couple cigarettes. I mean,
could.
Well, that's
like the French do. Like like after dinner, you have one cigarette. You do it occasionally on a Saturday.
History's already tried that out. It doesn't work. People don't do a couple cigarettes. I mean,
but if you can't,
nicotine is
I have
really
friends
addictive.
that can. I have friends that can just do a cigarette,
and
they'll just be like, "Oh man, you know what would really make this night better? A cigarette with this ice cold beer," and they do it, and then they don't smoke anymore.
Statistically, you're right, Steve. People can't control themselves, but there are people that can, and we shouldn't say like, "Oh, you can't ever do that." Of course, you can.
That's right, but you have to make in life. You have to make educated choices based on the evidence out there, and when the weight of the evidence is overwhelmingly compelling, then it is a wise, common sense choice to maybe steer clear of that, unless you're okay with becoming a habitual smoker.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole essence of life, is making calculated risks and choices, and that is overwhelmingly compelling evidence. That's all. So it's a vitamin E compound is what they suspect.
Is what's causing
that's like an additive within some of the products that might be causing this like string of illnesses. I
think news. Vitamins are good for you.
That's what I know. It's just, why can't we be
try
honest?
to take like a 10-time dose of vitamin A and see what happens?
Why does it have to go?
I don't even know.
Don't do that.
It's like what diet soda did, where it goes so far that people are like, "Oh, diet soda worse than regular soda." I'm like, no, it can't be worse than drinking all that sugar. And they're like, yep, it's worse. And then I'm like, no, it can't.
I got into an argument again with another girl I was dating. We were at the dinner table with her. Where were we? We're in Pennsylvania, and I'm at her dad's house. And we're sitting at the table, and I happen to have, like, my affection for Diet Mountain Dew or Diet Mello or any of that. It's not a new thing. That's what's going to get me, is that I've been doing it for so long. Mm-hmm. But I'm sitting there at the table, and I had a Diet Mountain Dew. And he's like, "You're drinking all that sugar." I was like, "Well, no, this is a Diet Mountain Dew. There's no sugar." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, there's sugar in there."
No, it's aspartame.
And he's like, "Artificial sugar? Still sugar." And I'm like, no,
it's
not.
chemically different.
You're an idiot.
It's completely different compound.
No, it's not sugar.
Maybe bad for you. It may be worse for you than sugar, but it's not sugar.
But is it worse for me than sugar?
Yeah, but
no one will tell me that.
No, it's not. It's not. It can't be. And then
there's an argument. I mean, first off, if I have a vice, it is diet sodas.
I know, yeah.
I mean, you know how many I drink. Saying that, aspartame does have some explicit risks. One is it can pass through the blood-brain barrier. And when it does,
I want to do that.
And that is a safety net between your brain and the rest of the world, effectively, and your body.
Oh, you guys need that for my brain.
And it can excite your nerve cells to the point that they die effectively.
All right.
And then what?
So far, nothing bad.
Yeah. It can trigger migraine issues or other neurological issues or conditions, and then the other thing it can do is it stimulates insulin production in the same way that sugar does, and insulin is of course what transports calories into permanent storage.
Can it convince you to?
But I still drink it. I understand the
Can
risk.
it convince you to bring a box of wigs to your your place of business?
That sounds like a blood-brain barrier.
Yeah, that sounds like you've fallen through the barrier into Crazy Town.
Well,
I was still so focused on health at that point that I did not consume diet beverages.
Okay, do you guys want to take a break? I know you have something to say. Do you do you want to take a break and then come back and do voicemails? Because we have a decent supply of them. Apologies, guys, but
no wig comment.
We've been going long. We'll take a little break. We'll come back. We're talking with One Wig for Life, Steven Kramer. It is a gentleman's guide to manliness. Probably the most tangent-styled show on this channel. It's the Tom and Dan Cruise 2020. This is like, what, our 7th or 8th cruise I think we've done?
Yep.
And if you go to the website, tomanddancruise2020.com, that's the numbers, 2020.com, you can check out. We're going to be sailing April 20th through the 24th, 2020, and it's going to be a heck of a lot of fun.
Absolutely. If you missed this year's cruise, the 2019 cruise, you definitely book the 2020 cruise. Like Daniel said, tomanddancruise2020.com.
Welcome back to A Gentleman's Guide to Manliness. I'm Steve Kramer.
Tom Van.
Dan Dennis, let's jump into voicemail.
Yeah.
All right, we neglect these. We're good at that. Let's try this one.
Hey there, guys. This is David. I was calling in for A Gentleman's Guide to Manliness. Steven Kramer is talking cash S that he could be a short order cook. I would sooner believe Tom Van. I would sooner let Tom Van be my dentist than believe that Steven Kramer could hack his way through a breakfast rush at Waffle House. Steven, I know you've done a lot of things and you're a very accomplished gentleman, but I don't think you got the sand, my friend. I don't think you can do it. All right, take it easy, guys. Love the show. Bye.
Wow, doesn't think you have the sand.
He could be right. I mean,
the first thing I can think of is that you show up to the Waffle House like early.
Now I want to try it though.
You got to get there like 2:30 because you got to get ready because hell's coming at like 5 a.m. And you walk in and the first thing you're like, ew, black people.
This is you.
And once you get over that,
this is you.
No,
and then we're like, it's fine. You're going to be working with them. And you're like, I love them.
then they'll do some light bullying. They'll
smash an egg on the top of your head. The first thing they're going to do is pull that pocket square out of your pocket, blow their nose on it, and stuff it back into your jacket pocket.
That's an old school bully move. And I like that.
A bully move.
And that's the equivalent to pulling your top hat down so it pokes out the top.
Brittany in our Twitch chat room says Dan is the Waffle House cook, Tom is the Denny's cook, and Steve is the $30 brunch buffet with mimosas cook. I can see that.
I will say that maybe that might be it. Now, I don't have anything against that $30
I know you know
buffet,
how to cook. I know you know how to cook.
But I'll tell you what I made for breakfast this weekend on Sunday.
Can't be too fancy, though, or it's not going to fit into the equation.
Okay, so you make the call on what it is. I made home fries, grits, eggs, scrambled eggs, and bacon in the oven in a cast iron skillet.
Bacon in the oven is the best. It's easier.
And that was it.
It's
that
just
was
easier that way. My daughter's obsessed with bacon now, so I got
toast with butter on. It was a delicious breakfast.
I got to ease her out of it because heart disease runs in her family. I can't have her favorite food being bacon. That's just not. I mean, it can be right now.
Yeah.
But I gotta.
She's good until her 20s.
She's got to hang out with your boys a little bit more. She's becoming like a crazy carnivore. Pig products, all pig products.
So here is my theory for why I think I would be a good short order cook. And I could be wrong.
Okay.
Like I'm fallible and make plenty of mistakes.
Well, let's hear your argument.
I have worked in fast food So I've done fast food before, and while I didn't cook, I've washed dishes at Rush, at Chili's in the heyday in the 90s. So I've been in that environment, and I've worked at the mall at a high demand fast food restaurant.
Which one?
I worked at Sbarro when it was like at the peak.
Sbarro, not technically.
I like Sbarro.
It was great, delicious pizza.
I don't know if I put it into fast food category though.
It is.
Yeah,
listen,
it's quick serve pizza, which is,
and also it was a certain time. I mean, remember this is when malls are at their peak. I remember one of my first days. I was at my job was to make the sodas because the rush and the line was so long that they needed one person to make the sodas.
Oh, God,
and I
boring.
remember I was trying to make them so fast. And one of the lessons I took away was the manager, who was a really cool guy.
It's an interesting way to describe just putting the cup into a lever.
I was in charge of crafting the sodas.
No.
And then having the soda just go fill a cup. You're basically filling a cup.
Well, I didn't do well. I mean, I didn't
making
do well.
it. It's not like you're
You're spilling all the Diet Dr. Pepper, you idiot.
You're
basically, yeah. I was
mixing the chemicals for the Coke.
No, I was pushing into the thing.
They're almost ready. Just 3 more drops of sugar.
So, but I wasn't good
so
at
you filled some cups. That's all right.
Because I was frenzied, right? I saw the big crowd in the line, and it was busy and hot and all that. And one of the best lessons I learned was my manager was like, "Look, you don't need to rush. It's okay. Just take your time.
Hey, the ice goes in the cup, you moron."
Hey, this guy's special needs over here. Fill a goddamn cup.
Hey, if you turn the cup upside down the right way, you'll get some water in it, you fool.
All right.
Hey, you're working at Sbarro. We got high standards here.
Hey, Jimmy, this guy thinks he's going to be a lawyer over here. Get him filling the cups.
Listen.
Hey, the R-word over here who's spilling the Sunkist everywhere. He's got a pocket square in his apron.
I didn't even know I was going to get out of high school at this point, okay? Let alone be a lawyer. I mean...
I'm just imagining you telling him
Hey, Johnny Rock Band over here. We got this goth kid, this keyboard goth kid's over here spilling all the Sunkist. I can't see you working at Sbarro, man. I can't do it.
Oh, I
just can't do it.
Let me tell you,
like me some
washing
Sbarro.
dishes. I did a bus dish at Chili's, and washing dishes and being the let's just say the S rolls downhill. Okay,
that's got to be hard.
And anytime things went wrong in the bathroom. Hey, Steve, get in there. Anytime they needed the dumpster cleaned out, Steve, get in the dumpster, clean it out.
Hey, here's a business.
Hey, Fallout Boy, we got turds stuck in the toilet.
All right, so I've been in a fast food crunch situation, first off. Secondly, I grew up and I started cooking really young because I was kind of on my own really young.
You had to kind of command the house a little bit.
Right?
Yeah.
So I started cooking pretty young. And when I lived with my grandparents, it was a big family. Like my mom it was 4 kids, and they all had like 4 kids. So at breakfast, there were like 20 people in and out of there, and my grandfather cooked breakfast, and he was like a short order cook. I mean, and he could cook it to order, whatever you wanted, because, when you got a big family like that, you kind of have to do that. I'm not saying that's the same thing if having 200 people come in, but it's 20 people at the same time kind of thing. And that's how I learned to cook, was from him.
Okay,
so I was doing that for him and with him, and that's the only reason. Not that that's an easy job; it's a hard job.
I've come to a decision. I've thought about it. No offense, Tom, but because of your lack of organization, I don't think that you would beat Steven in a short order cook contest, even though I know you know how to cook eggs because you probably do that at least 2 or 3 times a week for your boys. There's just a level of, like, when I see these guys at Waffle House, even the guy that's just in charge of cracking the eggs, have you seen that guy? He's hyper organized. Really organized.
Now,
well, you got to time it too. If you're doing it for your family or for a table, you got to time it. Like the grits and the bacon got to go on first because they take the longest to cook.
I don't think you'd be able to do that.
And then last is eggs and toast. And if you do it out of order, things don't come out right, and you get cold something.
Now cooking it, I think
undercooked.
you might get the edge in cooking even over Steven, but it's his organizational skills that are going to pull him to the top of the heap.
Now, so far, Steve said the reason why he's better is his experience
with filling soda buckets,
filling cups, and his
I worked at fast food until I was 18.
So that's all I heard.
Wow,
No, that was all my jobs. I mean, those weren't the only places I worked. I did fast food until I was 18, fast food and like chain restaurant until I was 18.
Other than Sbarro, what other fast food?
I worked at Sbarro, at Chili's, and at Chamberlain's when they had a cafe.
You guys,
I like the Chamberlain's Cafe.
You guys forget I have 2 years of experience.
Oh, you're a someone.
Substantial with the flat grill.
That's true.
I knew how to
That's
borderline.
true. I forgot about that.
I'd have 2 spatulas.
Kobe chef.
That's pretty good.
I would do the flipping. Give me 2 spatulas.
Yeah.
I'll chop your steak up fast, and then
You're like
maybe
a
instead of-
Kobe.
I'm cooking eggs. Oil crazy.
You're like the only Kobe chef that looks like Dale Earnhardt. Like you're a redneck Kobe chef.
Maybe instead of thinking of us as being on opposite teams, we should just get together and both cook a breakfast for listeners, and we could do like a fundraiser.
I mean,
or
this will
something.
never happen, but I like the idea.
I mean, it could be fun.
Yeah.
We could both do it.
Remember the
And we'll bring in a real shoulder cook, too.
The Koalas used to do pancake breakfast, a fundraiser, and you'd show up, and it'd be a bunch of fat old men that had been cooking bacon and pancakes all morning, and you'd get a crappy breakfast, but all the money would go to charity. And I just remember thinking as a kid, even as a kid, I remember thinking, I know this is for charity, and it's good. This is a crappy breakfast. You know what I mean? Just ask me for even as a kid, I knew just give him the $10, and then we'll go up the road to the diner and get a proper breakfast.
You can't do like banquet breakfast as fast food. By the way, Chili's is not fast food. I'm not saying that. Chili's is chain restaurant for sure, and but got some of that experience. And
what do you special? You're an egg guy, right?
Yeah.
That's your specialty. Because you cook that for your boys.
Yeah.
What about your
You
wife?
making poached eggs on eggs Benedict?
You an omelet guy?
See, I make scrambled eggs. My wife won't even eat my scrambled eggs. She thinks it's disgusting. But
give me your rundown.
I make my scrambled eggs.
Milk or water?
I use neither. But I use extra cheese. I do cheesy eggs, and they're kind of wet. And they're not dry at all, and it's kind of I mix them so much while they're cooking that it's basically just a pile of mush.
Oh, so you don't?
Oh, that sounds really appetizing.
You don't leave.
My boys love it.
They're runny, mushy.
It's not runny. It's just so much cheese, and it's like yellow
you don't
mush.
put the cheese at the end.
Looks like grits.
You don't put the cheese at the end.
No.
You put the cheese in and cook it in.
Into the eggs.
Yeah, no.
And I'm mixing it as it cooks so that it literally comes out as a pile of egg mush.
I will say that I saw Gordon Ramsay make his eggs, and he's
obsessed with eggs.
But they sound very similar to the way that you make eggs. Now, the way I make
the way he makes them, he takes forever to do them. Like it's got to be very consistent temperature, and it's delicate. He wouldn't want you to bruise the eggs by over whipping them or anything.
I do a little bit of milk, just a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and then I let them sit in there and I slow cook them. I bring them up to temperature, and then I just kind of gently fold them over, and I just keep gently folding them over, and they kind of hold this like eggy, pancakey style.
Well, they have a really nice
then
consistency.
I put the cheese on the top, and when that melts down, I know to pull them. That's how I do it. But yours sounds interesting. I might try your style. You have to show me how to do it.
Everybody hates it.
I make eggs. I like fried eggs, so either...
Don't try it. It's horrible.
Only me and my sons.
Well, hey, you got a bond.
I indoctrinated.
You got a bond over something.
I either do fried eggs, so you do over medium, over easy, over hard, or whatever.
Yeah.
Or I do shirred, which is where you scramble them in the pan. Or I'll do scrambled eggs, kind of like what you're talking about, like classic, where you put a little cream or milk in there and get some air when you whip them. And then when you cook them, I do them a little slower too. I cook them and I kind of don't move them for a while because I want my eggs to have nice, nice kind of size, I guess, of each bite of egg. Or I'll do like a skillet with eggs where you put eggs with with the other stuff. Or I'll do omelets where you do, fold it over. That's really hard to do though, to get the perfect fold and get your stuff inside of it.
I'm really good at folding an omelet. Because
you cook all your stuff ahead of time, like your onions or whatever.
But the key is I make sure that when I cook, like Steven nailed it, I prepare my onions and my peppers ahead of time, and I make sure they're not wet. I put them on a paper towel to kind of drain some of the excess liquid off, and then I fry my bacon or my sausage beforehand. Then I drain it, I pat it with some paper towels to make sure it's not overly greasy. Then I let those eggs slowly come to temperature, and then I don't overstuff it. And then the last thing I do is I put the cheese in when I know the bottom's done, just maybe a little bit of brown. I fold it gently, pull it, put it on the plate, sprinkle a little cheese, let it rest. That's how I do it.
That's
what kind of cheese?
Fancy.
I grate my own, and it's extra sharp cheddar.
Okay.
You got to grate your own, though. If you don't grate your own, it's not going to melt right.
Like, sometimes I like scrambled eggs. I put a little marjoram in them if I want something a little different, like an herb kind of feel. I don't do that often, but sometimes I'll do it. Or, like, with omelets, I like to mix up the cheeses. Like, Munster is good sometimes, or cheddar is good. Sometimes a mild cheddar is good, too.
I like God, the chat room. You know, it's funny. You can talk about anything. This is just like gun control. You can you can talk about anything and nobody will say a word. You talk about eggs and people go nuts. I mean, they go crazy.
I like the Eggland's Best eggs.
I do too,
because they've got the omega-3s in them.
I like Carol's eggs. Have you had hers?
I have not.
And my mom's name is Carol, and then
that's what I was thinking.
I made a very inappropriate joke when my mom was over, and I was like, "I haven't seen these in a while" to my mom, and it went over about as well here. There you go.
So she doesn't have the curse now?
She's the curse has been lifted.
Let's play in one more voicemail.
All right.
Well, it's like gun control.
More. This one will bring us up. This one will help.
Hey, this question is for a gentleman's guide. I guess it's just a part of life growing up, but I have a friend who just got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and he's a really young guy. He's 27, one of my best friends. But he lives far away. He lives up in Ohio, and I'm down in St. Clairsville. And I guess when someone's going through something like that, you tell them, if there's anything you need, but what can you actually do for them? It's something I'm struggling with personally right now, and I'm sure a lot of people are dealing with that throughout their lives. So just a question for you guys, if you have any ideas. Thanks.
I thought it'd really take us up. It's a perfect voicemail to take us up.
Okay, let's just
let's try to answer his question.
Everybody's experienced some family member that's cancer. Obviously it's
the youth makes it a little tougher. Not tougher, but the youth is different.
I think an experience is the first thing that comes to mind for me. You got to give them an experience. If there's something that you and your buddy always wanted to do, no matter how difficult it might be, and even though you might have to take some of the load on your shoulders to either plan or maybe physically he's just not feeling so well, you're going to have to bear the brunt of that. And I'd say go to Red Rocks and see Blues Traveler play. That's just something that came. You know what I mean? Like just go do an experience.
For me, first thing is positive vibes. Means something. Second is don't assume that that's a death sentence. I mean, I'm not saying to be delusional, but I've seen people that have had really, really bad odds of survival on that 5-year span that they normally talk about for cancer that have come out of it and ultimately been cured down the line. So don't assume that it's always a death sentence, because there are options, but certainly prepare. And then I agree with Daniel. I mean, I think try to do what you can to enrich their life in a way that they'll appreciate and understand that somebody that's sick can't necessarily do some of those experiences and may not feel that well. I mean, I went through this with everybody goes through it because we all have people around us that get sick or die, or we will at some point. But I went through this just in the last couple of years with my aunt, and she had stage 4 cancer. She'd battled breast cancer and then ultimately brain cancer and lung cancer. I mean, it went everywhere. And, that was my thing. I wanted to give her an experience. I wanted to take her to the beach. I wanted to go places with her and just, she had to do the treatment, and it was tough to do that because she just couldn't do it.
And do what you can, I guess, right?
And ultimately, anyway.
Here's what you
do what you can.
No, you drive up to Ohio, right? And you're like, let's go to Vegas, right? And
I like this idea.
And then he's like, I gotta, do my treatment. Like, no, whatever. Let's say we're going to Vegas for the weekend, and we are going to do crazy ass
bunny ranch
that you never do before. Yeah,
this is before they're really sick and before there's chemo.
We're gonna get you married.
Yeah. We're gonna
show dancers.
We're gonna get in a fight. We're gonna do cocaine. We're gonna
bum rush. Carrot Top's dressing room at the Luxor.
We are going to black out every day
in a shootout.
Basically, that's the Hangover movie.
I'm just saying Italian gun control.
We're just going to have the craziest weekend of debauchery ever, and then you get it out of your system, so that way you appreciate your family and your life and everything way more after that. And it's just something, because think about it. If I was like, I got stage 4 cancer, and one of my buddies like, let's go to Vegas and do something, like, at first I would resist, but I feel like when I'm in Vegas and then the prostitutes and then the cocaine, would take my mind off my inevitable death, right? I mean,
Well,
just for
you could even use it too. I feel
maybe
like
you don't even want to do that when you have that in the back of your mind.
Maybe you want more beautiful and fulfilling type things.
I think it's different for every person, right?
Yeah, it's going to be case by
I
case.
know the one thing I wouldn't want would be pity. If I was really sick like that.
Yeah.
Unless you're Mr. T. He likes the pity.
No, he says don't pity the fool.
No, he says I pity the fool. So he has a lot of pity.
Does he ever say don't pity the fool, or it's always I pity
it's
the
always
fool?
I pity the fool.
Yeah, it is.
Or hey, sucker.
Yeah, is doing something okay? Because I used to make this joke, and this is all jokes, by the way. But I used to say for your last meal, and you're on death row, it should be the worst meal you could possibly think of. Because why do you want to eat something delicious right before they kill you? Because you're like, this is so good. I wish I could eat.
Yeah,
this.
you want to eat something bad.
Yeah.
So
A
you're
poo-poo
looking
glass
forward.
sandwich. Yes, you're like, please, Cal,
I blood poop him out.
Yeah.
So you want like rotten food, basically.
Yeah.
Worse than rotten food.
So you got food poisoning. You just want to go out.
Yeah. You're like, I'd rather be in the situation where you want to die, not have. Like,
Why would you want to suffer before you die? The whole idea would be, peaceful and quick.
Because it'll
want
make
to
you
go to
look
sleep.
forward to going to the electric chair.
Yeah, like imagine when
it's like going from a jacuzzi into a cold pool.
It's why depressed people kill themselves because they want to, right?
I mean,
the reason depressed people kill themselves is an act of anger and of selfishness.
We got to get out of here.
All I'm saying is like someone you just had the best day of your life and you're so happy. That's when you least want to die.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. I agree with you. Let's plug some stuff and get out of here. Steven, anything to plug?
OneWigForLife.com.
Okay, One Wig for Life. He's on board. I like it. We'll have to buy that and link it up. But yeah, seriously, if you're going through a divorce and you want to make it easier,
it's interesting.
You can go to Kramer Law Firm.
And we're not seeing like a lot of. We're not in a recession yet, but there's like talk about that. Kind of in the press and stuff, and it's been interesting because I've seen like a little bit of an uptick in foreclosures. It's been a little bit, we were one of the big firms that did foreclosures when that foreclosure crisis hit back in 2008, and I don't like seeing them because it makes me concerned that maybe it's happening again. But if that comes up, we're here for that.
Cool.
There you go.
Yeah, or anything. I'm gonna go.
That's why it's onefirmforlife.com.
Well, we may not be able to do it, but if we can't, we'll try to connect you with somebody that can.
There you go.
But, the big stuff is the divorce and estate planning and accidents, injuries.
TomandDan.com for all things Tom and Dan. Guys, thank you so much for listening. We appreciate it, and we will see you next week.